So the practicum. So the way that this is set up is the practicum is the last course that you take. And what we do is we group people into teams of three or four, and you have to find a business problem that basically arises out of my class and work on understanding the problem, trying to find solutions around the problem, and ultimately you've got to pull together a big presentation to our members of the board of advisors who are all VPs, senior VPs, and C-suite executives. Jackie, what was your experience in that class, and how do you think that prepares you for your career?
Oh my gosh, everything, right? It gives you, the tools to work with, and then also to articulate, again, very complex concepts to C-level executives, which, you don't normally get to do. So not only is it practice, but then, gives you the confidence to do that in a work setting. The project that I remember did in your class, Dan, ended up being something that I implemented at Convoy. And that actually helped me get a promotion. So it gave me like the structure, the discipline, a way to really think about a problem and then create a solution and present it to leadership teams. So yeah, I thought that was a really, really fun exercise to like pool everything that I learned in this program, apply it to a real world business setting, and then actually have it impact my career in a monumental way. So.
And how does presenting
Mhm.
at the C level differ from other presentations you've done in your career?
Yes, you're talking about people or two people who are far removed from like the problem in the day to day. So like this practicum, right? Like also helps you to think about how do you frame this problem to help executives make a decision. And you want to make it as easy as saying yes or no at their level. And so, again, like this project was something that helped you really think and boil down the problem into a very digestible way so your C levels, can make that decision. So,
Yeah, the one thing that we spend a lot of time coaching people on is developing their problem statement, right? So let's say we've got one of the projects from several years ago was there was excessively high returns. And those returns were costing an extra $250,000 a year just in emergence, just overnight shipping and all kinds of, obviously the customers hate getting the wrong orders. But then there's the cost associated with rectifying those problems. One of the things that is very, very difficult to do is to summarize a complex problem down to a single sentence, right? Which is what we try to coach people to do. And sometimes, and all the coaches, all the people that work with the teams, we say, hey, sometimes it's not until the fourth week that they really come up with a tight problem statement that a
mhm,
senior executive, once you say it, they'll go, oh, okay, I get what's going on here. We
mhm.
got because I made it sound easy. Like the problem is we have excessive returns, and that's costing us at least $250,000 a year, plus reputational losses with our customers. Well, you know what? A senior executive is going to get that right off the bat.
Mhm.
If you start to blather on, tell me if I'm wrong, Jackie, their eyes are just going to glaze over. They're going to think about what their
Yep.
other problem was.
Yeah,
So,
it's very hard to capture their attention. I will say that in my like weekly business review meetings with my VP every Tuesday, like he easily goes to respond to other stuff during the meeting. So I have to say the things that matter to him for him to, obviously stay engaged. And I kind of learned the technical chops to do that from this practicum. So.